Hello, everyone. We will obviously stick around for like a few minutes to allow everyone to join because it is internet, yes, and people are. It's not a TV live, etc. Yep. So we will just dwell and sit in non-comfortable silence for like 2 minutes, or I can ask you, how are you, Sam?
I'm doing great, thanks. And how are you, by the way?
Not too bad, not too bad. A day full of calls, a day full of work, a day full of everything. So yeah,
Likewise, likewise. I think in a current world situation, especially with development of AI, you always have to stay busy on the trend, understand what's going on, who's doing what. So yeah, totally get it.
I recently saw like a picture or like a meme or something about the competition you have, and it was both kind of inspiring and uninspiring as well because
Yeah.
it basically said that you're a competition in quotes. 50% of those who are in your competition will not start anything. 40% of those who are in your competition will basically give up after first kind of challenges and first things that go south. 9% of everyone will just do things too long because they need to study something, they need to, I don't know, to get more experience, they need to ask someone for their opinions, etc. So they will take a lot of time. So at the end of the day, it is you and the other dude that basically has the same effort,
Good
has the
one.
same let's do it thing, etc. Yeah. So when you were talking about that in the age of AI, you need to stay sharp, you need to continue working, but it's not the AI we are competing it with. It is the other dude we are
Yeah, they
competing
did.
with. Yeah.
Good one. I like it.
Yep. So we can probably start. So there are two dudes. Michael here. I'm the founder, co-founder, and the CEO at Immigram, and Sam. Sam, I've seen your global talent visa case, so I can introduce you for like at least 30 minutes, talking about how an
Absolutely.
accomplished founder you are, about how an accomplished project manager and head of product and speaker and mentor, etc. So I can
Whoa, whoa.
continue selling you, etc. But it would like save ourselves a lot of time if you just do it. So yeah, can
Absolutely.
you can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Sam. I'm the founder of Fintech Wrap Up platform. It's a media platform about fintech, payments, and banking. In the past, I was a product manager. For the past 7 years, I've been working in building products in Uzbekistan, Central Asia, UK, and Europe. And also, I had the chance to be founder of a small startup company, Bot Commerce, back in Uzbekistan, where we built social commerce platform for small and medium businesses. Yeah, is that good enough, or you want me to add more
That's
info?
quick enough, quick enough, quick enough. We will have the time to add more info and we will have the
Absolutely.
questions. Yeah, so basically just to tell everyone about the structure of the website and what would we do here is I will enlarge the screen. Yeah. So this is the part one when I'm telling about the webinar, about the structure, about what would be here. So first, obviously, we'll dive into Sam's professional journey, talk about why and how Sam achieved the things he achieved and like what was his trajectory in a way. Next, we will talk about the UK, its comparison with other countries, and why Sam eventually landed in the UK, and maybe what's next. But yeah, the focus would be on immigration and why the UK, why is it good, why is it bad, etc. So, as I said, what's next? We will end on the plans and what's in store for Sam and for us maybe in the future, because obviously Sam has experience of Sam and his kind of ability to read what's happening in his markets and in the market generally would allow us to gain some insights in like what's happening with the markets and what should we do. And yeah, if we will, when we will have some questions in the end, we will gonna discuss them. And please address your questions to Sam and not me. This video is not about me. This video. Yep. And final thing, I have basically a chain on my leg because marketing has told me that if I will not at least 3 times tell you that there is a QR code in the corner of the presentation that you can scan, and if you fill it out, you can get 10% discount on our services. But once again, it is about Sam. It's not about our services or anything. So yeah, let's dive right into it. So, Sam, if you don't mind, can I
Sure.
just shall we start from something super general and then we'll dive in? So like what brought you into IT? What brought you into fintech generally? How come?
Well, I think my journey into IT started at university. When I basically started university, my friends at university also were very much into IT. They were developers. So what we decided to do together is that we've decided to develop the first freelance platform in Uzbekistan. At the time, as students, we were looking for jobs, but due to the fact that we were students, we were not able to find full-time job because we don't have time. So we thought, okay, why not try to build a platform where people like us could go register, and then on the other hand, businesses that are looking for part-time freelance professionals also publish their openings, and then we try to match them, and in the between we earn. That way, my journey actually started in the world of IT and software development, and maybe I would say into an entrepreneurship.
Hmm. But why have you never heard about Sam, a founder of freelance platform?
Well,
I mean, why has it
just like
failed?
that's just like analogy that you mentioned in the beginning of the conversation. Well, 50% of the people just drop out, right? Just like that, the
Okay.
idea of building the platform also dropped out after like the first, I would say, unsuccessful attempt of us going and launching it to the market because we didn't get the traction we want. So just like any other project that I started in the past, many other projects that didn't leave to current moment. So we had to
Mhm,
put it aside and continue on our studies and other projects that we were working on.
mhm. Makes
But one
sense.
thing I will say, if you go to my Facebook profile, you will see the pictures of me and my friends just holding the I don't remember exactly the name of the thing that we are holding and basically presenting the idea to judges. Basically, you can find those pictures.
Okay, we most definitely will.
Sure.
But still, since you are not a coder in none way, I would have said in some way, but in none really,
No.
and you didn't have any coding background. How come did you start a tech startup?
Well, I wouldn't say I didn't give it a try. I tried to learn, especially Java. Then at one point, I started to learn Python. But the problem with me is that I was never good at math, at
Mm,
mathematics, And in my opinion, and looking at my friends, my colleagues who are engineers, I say this is one of the essential skills that you must have to become a successful engineer. So after giving it a try and basically evaluating my skills and my future career trajectory, because I always want to like grow to senior position, I said to myself, okay, you can basically grow to certain level, yes. But after that, without strong mathematical knowledge and other essential, skills that are also aligned, again, goes back to mathematics, you cannot grow. So I said, okay,
mhm,
instead of going towards the path that you cannot take and grow to the top, why don't you choose something that you are good at and then grow in that direction? And that thing that I was good at was this product management, because as I said, when we were building the platform, again, I was sort of like product manager working on features, ideas, numbers, etc. So I've decided to go in that direction and grow as a product manager instead of software engineer.
Makes sense. How do you get your like first job as a product manager? Straight out of uni or in the uni? Or like how did it happen?
No, well, actually, it happened after I graduated from the university, straight after the
Mhm,
university. But I wouldn't say, I would say actually my first product manager, or I would say slightly product marketing manager role, started at pharmaceutical company, Sanofi. It's a French company. What while I was at university, but it was an internship, so I don't usually count it. So I count my actual real product manager role just right after the graduation of the university. It was a health tech startup where I worked on fertility kits for women who want to get pregnant. So we were sending the fertility
mhm,
kits to home and getting the results. So that was my real actual product manager role. And it was in a startup environment actually.
mm. Makes sense. So I can see like in your like I'm looking at your CV currently at your
Sure.
LinkedIn, etc. But still, like just in within a few years, you are getting from a uni to a project manager to a head of product. Like, how do you
Right.
get from just a project manager to leading a project like whole product department, like being a head?
You know,
What does it
this
take, and
is
how do you pursue?
Sure. This is actually where actually my journey into fintech starts. My first fintech role was at Click. It's one of the local biggest fintech companies in Uzbekistan. Now they have more than 10 or 12 million customers. And again, I joined the company as a product slash project manager. However, after working some time in a local market, I've decided to go international. At that time, I joined StormPay, and I was the first employee and the first product manager. It was a great experience because I had the chance to work directly with co-founders. When you work with the co-founders, you get the most experience because you are building everything from ground up. That way, I built up my way to becoming a head of product, but you don't just become a head of product out of nowhere. You have to, build something, get some experience. I think I was in that role because I built from everything from ground up. I knew the product, I knew everything, what's happening inside the product, and I worked alongside the co-founders. That gave me the chance to grow to this position and basically lead the whole product development process. And at
Mhm,
StonePay, we were actually building, I would say, in our opinion, again, in our view, the super application for for the local market, because in Uzbekistan, this type of business model is quite popular, and we wanted to bring this experience to the UK market.
mhm. Okay. So you would say that being in a small startup, especially starting like from scratch with some of the founders, have
Yeah.
it's like the shortest ladder to a management position and to some impact on the whole company, etc.
Well, I I wouldn't say it's always the case. Of course, it depends, but for me, that was the case. I got lucky, or I don't know, because of my curiosity and drive to learn and build. That gave me the chance to grow. But again, it depends on your skills, on the type of the company, and where you are, etc. There are many different factors, but this is how
Mhm.
it happened for me, actually. But
Okay.
one thing Michael, but one thing I would add anyway is that, in my opinion, working in a startup environment and directly with the co-founders is the best experience. This is the best experience. This is where you learn the most.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. I never actually worked in a corporation, but when I hire BAs, I usually tell the same story to sell
Right.
them the position because they will be working with me, they will learn, etc. Yeah. So
Right.
I completely
Right.
like I'm signing under what you just said.
But it's true. But
Yes. Yeah, it obviously is. I'm just making
sure.
I'm just making it a comedic moment. But still, so you worked for a few years in a few companies.
Yeah.
You grew into a head of product, and everything was great, and everything was good. Why the hell did you start your own company? For the second, did I don't know? Did your freelance platform experience teach you nothing? Why did you start a new one?
Again, if you look into my career trajectory, I've always worked in two jobs. One is full time usually, and along the way, I'm always trying to build something because, again, it is again my belief you always have, just like yourself, like you said, I've never worked for a corporation, right? Because I assume and I guess you want to be independent and an entrepreneur. So this was the goal and still is the goal for me. I want to be independent and I want to reach a certain level, build something of my own. So that's why along the side, I still continued working full time, by the way, but along the side of the way, I built my own startup company, Bot Commerce, as I mentioned, where we were building social commerce platform for small and medium businesses. It all started actually from Telegram, which is very popular in Uzbekistan. Then from there, we decided to expand. But answering your question is that I think I will never stop building and or at least trying to build something that and take it to the certain level. So I want to be independent, and I will tell you this, it was one of the main reasons why I actually applied for the UK talent visa rather than applying for the job,
Mhm.
because talent visa gives you independence.
Makes actually it makes even more sense because there is a famous like quote by Ben Horowitz. He's basically saying that you if you can not start a startup, you should not start a startup. You should only start a startup even if you cannot not start
Exactly.
a startup. Yeah. So basically, you just you couldn't do it. So yeah,
Exactly.
that makes total sense. Total sense.
Sure.
And yeah, so once again, looking at your resume here, what the hell is a PayPal champion? Champion of what? Allow me to be
Well,
ignorant here for a sec.
right, right. As you can see, I'm still independent, currently working on my own fintech start on my own company, media company this time, but alongside the way, again, I'm doing something else. Basically, what I'm doing is that I'm a PayPal champion. When you are PayPal champion, you are chosen because you contribute to what PayPal is doing and expanding its platform. So I write a lot about PayPal. If you go to my platform, fintechwrapup.com, you will see that I've written a lot about their products, how they are developing the payment instruments and solutions. And because of that fact that I'm expanding and spreading noise and teaching people about payments and what PayPal is building, I was chosen as a sort of ambassador. It's like ambassador program where you you promote PayPal. So I was chosen, and I said, okay, let's go give it a try because I like the PayPal, what they're doing, and would love to be part of
Mhm.
the journey.
Okay, I will dive right into the fintech wrap up. But
Sure.
before that, if you don't mind, I would like to ask you, how do you actually balance two things at a time? Because most like when you listen to I don't know top tech CEOs or like these business podcasts, etc., some of them would argue that you can only do one thing good at a time. So
And
how
I
do
do
you
that.
balance two big things? Huh?
I do one thing. Actually, I do one thing. For example, I moved away from my full-time job just 3 months ago, and for me, my full-time job was the main thing. So basically, I was 100% focused on my full-time job, yes, but after work, couple of hours, and on weekends as a part-time thing, I was doing my media project. You see, so again, when I'm doing something, I'm giving 100%. When I'm doing my full-time job, I'm doing my full-time job. I'm not like dividing myself into two. But when I have some free time, okay, I'm doing my media project. And I understand your question. Sometimes it's challenging to do the two things at the same time, but I don't know. I found a way. So on weekends, on free time, when I have a couple of hours a day, I was able to build my platform, to build my follower base. Now I moved away from my full time job and working on fully on my media project. You see, it's become my
Mhm.
full time job basically, and I am now full time, 100% on it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Um, I. The thing that interests me actually with all of the founders and IT professionals who do immigrate, basically immigrants and relocants, is what was the point, or what was, do you remember maybe the day that you thought that, okay, so I need to move, I need to go somewhere? Because and people tell thousands of different reasons. Some of them just grow out of their local market, some of them just have something to go to, etc. But like what was the breaking point, when you sat in Tashkent and thought to yourself, like, okay, so
Of
I'm
course.
moving from there?
Yeah, I remember that clearly because it was the moment when I got my job at StonePay. So
Mm,
at that point, I moved from local to global. Okay, I wouldn't say to global, but UK is still one of the biggest markets in the world and one of the financial hubs in the world. And for me personally, UK is a capital of fintech. So when I started building, okay, remotely, I worked for StonePay remotely, and when I started building, I understood that like the world of payments works differently in Uzbekistan, where I am from, and let's say in Europe, the UK, and then the US. So at that point, I understood that like there are more opportunities, there are bigger opportunities when you move to the market more advanced than where you are. So at that point, I've decided like in the long term, anyway, I first let's build some experience now by working in such companies as StonePay, and then move to the market and then maybe try to build something your own in those markets.
mhm. Makes total sense. Finally, can you tell me more about your current project, like the Fintech Wrap Up? Like, what is it? What is it you do? What are you building?
Right. No, that's really actually a great question. Well, Fintech Wrap Up is a media platform that helps fintech companies, banks, digital asset companies, crypto companies to share their story to the audience, reach out the right audience, and basically grow to the next level. So I have audience of 150,000 followers and subscribers, basically. I write, explain, do deep dives. Now I'm recording podcasts about fintech with senior level people from different companies. The recent one was with chief operating officer of Chime, one of the top neobanks in the US, for example. That way, they can spread their voice, right? Reach out to right audience, build their reputation, and build basically showcase the company. And I don't know if you read my latest post or not. So once now I have a purpose. Basically, what I want to do with Fintech Wrap Up is that to contribute to the UK's and Europe's fintech ecosystem. You know, I want to reach out to more founders, early stage companies, and help them to reach investors, help them to reach the audience, especially if they are building in fintech, banking, and crypto verticals. So now I have one more purpose, basically, to do the good job, not just write and build, but to contribute to help actually to ecosystem of the UK and Europe to grow.
Hmm. The last question about that, if you don't mind, and then we will move.
Absolutely.
What would be, obviously, like, if I just ask you, how do I get 150,000 followers? The answer would be quite complex. But I would
No,
ask, like, what's the, no, it would not. Okay.
no, it would not.
I will
For
ask
me, at
that
least,
then.
again, for me at least, it was consistency. So
Aha.
I've been writing and working on fintech Wrap basically for the past almost 4 years now. So and I've been consistently writing and creating the content basically every day, consistently every day. If you just follow me on LinkedIn, you will see I make posts literally every day. And I've done this without the team. I've done everything myself, and again in parallel to my full-time job. So at least for me, the thing that paid off is the consistency and persistence as well, right? Yes, because in the beginning you will not see the results, especially on platforms such as LinkedIn, which does not work like Instagram or TikTok. You don't get virality out of nowhere. And especially if you're writing a niche content, just like myself, I write very, very niche content. From 10 people, maybe two will understand what I'm writing. If maybe even they won't understand that. So consistency and persistence those two things helped me to reach the level of the audience that I have now.
Wow. So next time in the evening, when I will be saying to myself that I am too tired to cook dinner after just one job I have, I will remember that a person can do a full-time job, a side project, building it into a business, and write
Right.
lots of stuff, building his audience into hundreds of thousands. Okay, yeah,
And
that's
one thing, when I was starting, and there was no ChatGPT actually in the beginning to help
yeah.
me write anything, So yeah.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Let's not feed our imposter syndrome for a second. Just move from it somewhere. Okay. So the UK and the relocation and immigration, etc. So once again,
Sure.
because I saw your global talent visa application, and on the global talent visa application, you basically need to state all your travel history for the last 10 years.
Sure.
I didn't see that you are like super well traveled. How come? Like how did you decide? Because like you first moved to Malta and then now you're moving to the UK. So how come without like people usually do relocation after they like traveled a lot? Like
No, it was not.
how come?
It was not the case with me, at least.
Yeah.
So my first travel was just like many of my peers from Uzbekistan to Russia. So it's one of the easiest places to travel to because you don't need a visa.
Okay.
But for people from Uzbekistan, traveling, I wouldn't say that easy. So, because again, if I simply apply for travel visa to the, let's say, any European country, it will take me like a month to get that visa and tons of documents because again, we are one of those countries. I don't know. We are one of those countries like where you have very strict rules for which I mean I think I don't know. Again, the reason I have no idea, but it takes very long time to basically get any type of visa if you want to travel to Europe, to US, or any other major like developed countries. So I started my journey in Russia and then continued my professional journey in Uzbekistan. Then, as you said, I had a chance to work and live in Malta for 1.5 years. Again, it was, I got the chance, I got the job there. So I
Mhm.
said, okay, let's get the job and move to Malta again. Malta once was part of the UK. Maybe that would help me to get my UK talent visa. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I had the chance to work and again work in the payments industry. Still in Malta, I worked at the payments factory. And again, if I had the chance, perhaps I would travel a lot. But again, due to the fact that it's not that easy to get a visa, I didn't have a chance to travel a lot.
Fair enough. Fair enough. No, I mean, after 5 years in the UK, you will get your British passport, and then maybe you
Let's
will
see.
tell you. Yeah.
Sure.
Usually, yeah. So like, I have lots of folks who I did like global talent visas like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years ago, and they are
Yeah.
now becoming British residents, and
Yeah.
most of them leave the country for like months of travel like the second they get their citizenship because they
Right.
usually have passports of like Russia, Uzbekistan, Pakistan, India, etc. And
Right.
yeah, so like
It's way
when
easier to travel now.
yeah. When folks talk about issues they have when getting visas, there is one Pakistani crying somewhere. Yeah, so that's like the worst passport you can get. So yeah, but
Again.
still, how come? Okay, so I got the multi part, but why the UK at the end of the day? Like, how did your choice ended up on the
Right.
UK?
No. Well, I already mentioned this partially. I like independence. So basically, I did my research. Of course, I had a look at Portugal because they also have like digital nomad visas, and few other countries in Europe. They also have, I mean, similar visas for digital nomads. And another option for me was the US or one, for example. They also have that. But for me, the last two options were either the US or the UK, again, because those are the strongest markets. And since I'm
Mm,
young, maybe I don't know, because of my ambitions, for me, it's important to get access to biggest and fast growing markets. UK and the US for me, those are those two markets. But for the US, to get the O1, you still need a company to sponsor you. It's a good visa, but you still need a company to sponsor you, and it doesn't give that level of freedom that I'm looking for. So eventually, I ended up choosing the UK because again, talent visa gives me a lot of freedom. And let's say if I want to get an employment, I can easily apply for a job at any company and start working if I get the job. Or if I want to start a company, go ahead, please start your company, no problem at all. So this was one of the final factors that played a role: independence of any companies and restrictions, and like being able to move quickly and fast.
Makes total sense. I will just issue like a super quick remark on O1. You can actually like there is a requirement that the company should sponsor you, but you can open this company yourself. You can apply as a
I
founder of the
know,
company,
I
which will be
know.
super fun. But obviously, if you want to work for someone after you have got an O1 with your own company, that would be quite complicated, and there are lots of complications. That's true.
I will add one
Uh,
more thing here, if you don't mind, regarding the O1. Yes, you can
please.
open that company yourself, but again, if I'm not mistaken, there are requirements against that company as well. Like you must have, certain amount of money, let's say, to be able to hire yourself. So it's not as easy as it sounds. So yeah, I did a bit of research. Maybe again I missed something, but yes.
It's pretty straightforward. Once again, it's not the topic of our conversation, but yeah, we do O1s as well. And the first ever O1 I did for my co-founder at Immigram. So we basically just
Yeah.
opened Immigram Inc. in Delaware. I filled out a few an application, did a few things, and basically got the
Okay.
visa. Obviously, I am biased because things that are hard for like making a global talent visa application it's not really straightforward. For me it is, but so
Yes.
it's the same. So what I'm considering easy and straightforward in terms of O1 maybe is not, but I'm just like
No.
biased. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. TDT. Okay, so you, as far as I understand, you were thinking about the global talent visa long before you ever applied and long before you ever contacted anyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
As I said, when I just started my journey at StormPay, so that was like the starting point when I started planning relocation in general.
Mhm.
Doing my research, as I said, the types of visas, where I could potentially get a visa, and what would be then the trajectory, how if I could work or start or whatever. So at that point, I basically started my basically research process. And I
Mhm.
remember um, at that time, even going to your website, guys, doing my research, filling up the questionnaire that you had. I didn't qualify at that time, but with time, of course, I started qualifying. It's because you have a questionnaire where you ask questions, and just at the end you give the results saying like you qualify, you don't
Uh,
qualify.
Yeah, was my follow up actually, because I was like, so how come it took you years from idea conception to actually going and building a case and applying? But that's apparently the answer. Okay, makes
Yeah.
sense. But still, like even after you did something, even after your product experience and mentorship experiences and startup experiences, didn't you feel a little like that the global talent is for like Nobel Prize laureates and it's out of your depth, out of your league, and like, or you were like, I am talented, please, like I need a stamp and can I come in?
Well, I think you never. I don't know. Maybe for me, it was definitely like a lot of questions, because again, if you look into my CV, as you said, I didn't have that roles like CEO or like top seniorship roles, and especially another factor for me was that I
And you did
don't
no
even have.
maths.
And I also don't have the name of the companies, like let's say top companies in the world, like Google or Apple or
Mhm,
Facebook. It's like most of the companies where I worked are small startup companies, and I usually worked as a product manager and max maybe head of product. Yes, I started my company, but it was still small company. So that was one of the points I was always thinking if I would be able to get that, because again, I don't have any top or senior role at top company. Because when I did my research, I saw people and they are like top guys at top companies doing great stuff, and I'm not there. Yes, I'm writing some stuff, maybe speaking here and there, trying to do mentorship online, but again, I don't have that senior roles at top companies. So that part was scaring me a lot. I didn't know if I would qualify from that perspective when they start doing the research or measuring the impact that I created.
Makes sense. Makes total sense. And apropos of the global talent visa application itself, like when you read the criteria, did you think that you like that there is some criteria I need to choose? There are some criteria I need to choose. Not I need not to choose, etc. Or even better, after you looked at the criteria and you read about the visa, why did you choose to apply with someone? Why did you choose to use an agency instead of maybe doing it on your own, or with mates, or with a YouTube video?
You know, Michael, I have I would say I developed this, you know. It's better to work with people, or let's say companies that know things better than you, rather than sitting and spending time trying to guess if that will work or not work. So when I did research in the beginning, as I said, when I was just starting, I came across your company and few other companies in the market, and I also tried to go and read on Technation's website all the criteria, etc. But when I
Good
started
luck.
reading, everything is not clear. Exactly. Good luck. Please go ahead. Good luck. It's not as straightforward as it is. It sounds like, okay, you have to do this, you have to do, but what does it mean? Okay, what does it mean? I don't understand. And there is nobody whom I can go and ask. So I said, okay, Sam, you don't understand everything. So instead of guessing or doing guesswork and spending money, because it's not like small amount of money, like the application fee is still like £500 or more. I mean, it's still quite a lot of money. So I said, okay, let's go with the agency or the people who understand this, who have done this, who have track record, and use their help to prepare at least your application, and whatever they need, you can provide from your side. So as I said, I usually prefer to work with, let's say, someone who knows and has done that, rather than trying to play guesswork.
Fair enough. What was the like? What surprised you the most about the process, or like what was not really intuitive?
I think the part where where they say impact, okay, it was like how to show the impact, you know, because again, I worked on early stage companies, and when you're working on early stage companies, it's not that easy to show the impact that you created. And in my mind, the impact was like going to the market and then, I don't know, gaining thousands of millions of customers. But it's not always the case. You can show the impact with the products that you build internally. So again, that was like not that much clear for me. And again, as I said, I was like scared a bit, because again, I worked on early stage companies, and how would I do that? And thankfully you guys came up and like showed the direction how to do and how to showcase that properly.
There is one of the criterions that basically states you need to prove recognition for work outside immediate occupation that contributes to the advancement of the sector. That's usually the criteria we go to with most of the folks. And one of the activity that usually satisfies the criterion, not fully, but still it like kind of meets the criterion, is mentorship.
Right.
And you had that. And so the question is, it's not really about visa, it's more about you. Why did you ever had the audacity to think that you can mentor someone? I'm obviously kidding. Like, why did you start mentoring, and how come, why did you decide to do it on the program, institutional, etc.? Like, how come you're a mentor?
You know, yeah, exactly. This is a great question, actually, and I get this question a lot. And I always say, and even during those sessions, I say, I'm not mentoring you. this is the conversation we are having, right? You have questions, I'll try to answer them at the best capacity that I have. You know, I never say I'm mentor. The platform says it's mentorship, but I never say I'm mentor because again, I have just 7 years of experience. I'm just starting. You know, I'm just going there. I'm just getting there, and even the first 2 years. I don't even count them. I say like I have 5 years of experience. So I don't say I'm mentoring you. We're just having the conversation, exchanging thoughts, ideas, and I'm trying to just answer your questions at best of my capacity. And if those are about fintech, even better because I can answer you better. Otherwise, I might not be the best person to help you and answer your questions. So those were like just this type of sessions rather than mentorship. So I never call them mentorship. I still don't call them mentorship. So it's just conversations, exchanging thoughts, and helping one another, basically.
Why did you start?
Well, first of all, it helps a lot to develop your skills, communication skills, talking to people. It's very, very helpful. And I built the platform on LinkedIn, right? So the goal is networking. And mentorship is another way of building the network, connecting to people, staying in touch. One of the great networks and people I made on that platform, for example, Evgenia, she's also in this vertical. We're still in touch. For example, we that way I came to basically build Wrap Up, another platform that I am working on at the moment. You see, I built a great, I would say, network. Then it grew to something bigger that I am working as in stealth mode at the moment, I would say. So that way, that was the ultimate goal actually, and I think I still am continuing that. So you can go on ATP list, and I mean, you can book a session with me, no problem.
I will.
You don't need to. We are already in touch.
No, but still, yeah, that's a lesson in humility for me because you can do three large things at a time. You can build big products. You can like bring millions of bucks in revenue. You can do lots of stuff. You can become a global talent, and you
Mm.
still will not call yourself a mentor. You just basically saying I'm just a guy. I'm not saying that I cannot really provide it, just a conversation and maybe she can provide some value. No, you can provide quite a lot of value, mate.
I mean, if you say
uh,
so, you say so. Because who decides who is mentor. Right? Well, I don't know who decides who is mentor, right? I mean, if you call yourself mentor, then perhaps you are mentor. But I never call myself a mentor. I don't know. So it's not for me to decide if I'm mentor or not.
mhm. Makes sense. Makes sense. So now you are like, tell me something about your like person. What you are now moving to London. How do you think of apartments? How do you think of the city? How do you think of the friends you will? Do you have already any friends there? What's the personal side of your relocation, not the just the business one and the startup one?
My first friend is ChatGPT. We are doing a lot of research together. It's helping me a lot actually. Yeah, basically, I'm using a lot of I'm using ChatGPT a lot to do the research about London, about renting and etc. documents. But the thing is, since I had the chance to work at UK-based company StonePay, I already built network. I have a few friends who live there. So, but what I'm doing at the moment is I'm reaching out to them to get advice. So, for example, where I should look for an apartment, which area is good one, what should be my budget, what should I expect in the first, let's say, 3 to 6 months, what documents I should prepare, etc. That way I'm trying to reach out to those people. But again, for anything else, I'm reaching out to ChatGPT and trying to use it as much as possible. But again, I think you need the budget. One thing I know now for sure, you might have to pay at least for rent for the first 6 months in upfront. This is now I know because you don't have credit
Yeah.
history in the UK. This is one of the challenges. So, but once you build the credit history, I believe it will be much easier.
Oh, it is about credit history and it is about CVs as well. So in London, you can impress a landlord with your CV, and they will
Oh,
actually
really?
allow you to pay. There are ways around that. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
maybe you should book a session with me. I can. I lived in
I
London for like
should.
5.5 years. Yeah.
I should, and perhaps my profile will help him with that. Let's see how that goes. But so far, any agent that I write to, they say like, "Oh, where do you work? What's your income? Do you have a
Yeah.
credit history, etc., etc." So maybe when I get there, so basically I'm flying at the end of this week, and
Mhm.
it will be easier when I can show my profile. I say I'm doing this. This is my platform. I built this and that. Perhaps that will help.
Yeah. And also, like we will add you to. We have a global talent club, and that's for those
Okay.
who are what is it basically global talents in the UK. Yeah,
Okay.
if you're not added yet, we'll definitely add you so you can ask
You
lots of
should.
questions there.
No, I'm not
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we will, we will, we will, we obviously will, we should. All right. So, how about we finish with this thing with so you are from a small country, from a small city, and you have built great products, and you currently build great company. You have great following. You are presenting and talking in a different language, not the one you grew up with, and not the first actually one that you have ever tried to study. What? So you have an impressive kind of journey behind you. What would be the advice you can give, like a piece of advice, the most valuable one, to all of those who are kind of looking to go at least some of the steps that
All
you
right.
walked?
Right. So basically, my advice, guys, if you ultimately want to apply for the talent visa, so start as early as
You should
possible.
scan the QR code. That's my
Exactly.
advice. But your
Exactly.
advice, I'm asking about
No,
your. Oh, yeah, I'm kidding.
no. What I would say anyway, regardless, you should start early. Please start early. And one thing I will tell you: do not lose the documents and contracts that you signed with different companies, because at one point I had to present some contracts from my previous employers, and I couldn't find them basically because I didn't keep them. So I mean, if you have plans, please collect all the documents, all the evidences, don't lose them, and start building network, start building connections, especially with well-established people in the market, because again, you will have to at one point reach out to them to ask for recommendation letters, right? So start all of this early on, start collecting all the evidences early on, and once you feel that you are ready, you can start applying. But if you believe that you are still not that at that level or don't understand how to apply, so reach out to Imikram. Guys will help you with all the steps.
Hmm. Yeah, and still, if you are thinking that you're not good enough, remember a guy who does three things at a time, who is followed, who builds businesses, who works full time, and still does not consider himself a mentor. So yeah, and doesn't know math. You don't need to know math to build great products. So
No.
shall we go into the questions? So like, I have no idea how it works. So yeah, how do we see the questions?
I
Yeah,
believe
basically,
everything is
no, no, no.
everything
So
is
yeah,
clear
I can.
from our our webinar, I guess.
No, most of the questions are super personal, basically, because
Oh,
apparently, folks that see us from either London or considering moving to London in the near future. So it is about districts, it is about the what you would you do, etc. But still, so I like one of the questions here. Is it office versus remote? So do you? The thing is, most of the folks. Oh yeah, I do. I do think I fully understand the question now. So given that work nowadays has becoming more and more remote and more just you and your laptop, does the idea of moving into super big, super expensive, super demanding and challenging city, does it still work? would you not rather go to, I don't know, Vietnam on a small island into the jungle and the sea and be happy there? Like, why in the age of remote work and Zoom and computers and
Mm.
internet and AI, why still go into large capital cities?
Well, Michael, I will answer for myself. I don't know for other people, but for me, the office is most efficient. I always feel great and most concentrated in the office, and I think maybe the environment always plays a role for me personally. So I always prefer office. I try to go and work in the office as much as possible, and in addition to that, asking why London or why big city, for me again personally, it's access to great network, it's access to funding in the second place for me. If you let's say if you want to start let's say a company, it's preferable you should be in a place where you have access to funding and talent as well. That's why I decided to move to the UK or London. It's one of those reasons. And yeah, for me answering was one word: office. I prefer office.
Okay, fair enough. So we have the next one. How long did it all take to get the visa?
Well, if we talk, Michael, you need to help me with this one. Should I, like, it took me, I think, 3 months
Mm.
or more. I don't remember now exactly the length, but preparing everything from very beginning, I think it is like a 6 or even more, depending on your case, depending on how well prepared you are. So I think overall it took me like 6 months preparing everything, the case, then applying, then getting and like submitting the evidence and everything else.
Hmm. Okay. So once again, it took years to kind of decide if you are good enough, and just a few months to get the visa. Can you, if you want, discuss the evidences you submitted for each of the criterion? Wow, that is a
Well, I
question.
think that's way too broad question. I don't know. Like there are so many evidences like work and outside of work. But one thing I can say anyway, like try to collect or uh yeah, your evidence should be measurable in numbers, value if you talk about money and fundraising. So you should be able to measure those stuff, and that's the best I would say evidence that you collected. So whatever you collect, try to make it measurable so that because technicians prefer that, and this is what I learned from Immigram, from your team, Mike, when you were collecting. Also you were highlighting that it should be measurable with the numbers, so try to collect as many evidence as possible and in a measurable for format.
If you give me an active and explicit consent, I can discuss your evidences for you. Just like and like what the criteria we used and like how did we get there.
Sure.
Say yes
I,
if you.
I yeah, go ahead.
I'm a
Go
lawyer.
ahead.
Yeah, so basically, the with Zeros, with cases like Zeros, where you have fintech, but still, so there are one mandatory criterion we need to go for, and we have an obvious choice of optional criteria and not so obvious choice. So an obvious choice is usually when a person worked for product-led digital technology companies or established them, would be optional criteria free, significant contribution to product-led digital technology companies. When you are thinking about how to approve significant contribution, you need to basically think about these words. You need the word contribution and you need the word significant. Contribution is all the projects that you did for the company, all the basically things that you can say in the past. When you can, when describing those things, you can use verbs in the past, like I did, I created, I led, I established, I founded, I whatever. You cannot say things like I was doing, I was built, I was working on, etc. It will not work in your favor, it will not even be considered. So all these kind of building blocks are the projects. And the second word is significance. So you need to measure the impact of these things on the company, on the country, on the industry as a whole. So basically, you collect those things like I did X, I did this thing, it earned some money. It did attract some new customers. It did reduce software engineering hours for the whole company, etc. So a product, a project, and an impact. That's the optional criterion 3. So we obviously used Sam's experience as a product manager, because product manager is fairly simple. You just have the products that Sam built and you discuss you show the evidence of the significance. So mandatory criterion. So the next is the choice between the innovation criterion and the outside occupation criterion. So optional criteria 1, optional criteria 3. If we would have applied SAM a few years ago, we would have obviously gone for innovation criterion, because it was fairly easy. You just need to state that you are actually building something new and innovative, and Technation was fine with that. For the last year, from the start of 2025, Technation has actually said that innovation criterion it's either patented work directly, or it is an impossibly directly innovative work for companies such as, I don't know, Anthropic, DeepMind, Perplexity, OpenAI, etc. So since Sam had neither, we decided that we need to go for the optional criteria 2, which is the significant recognition for work outside immediate occupation. And this is where we used mentorship experiences, articles Sam has written about the digital scholarship topics, his recognition as champion and ambassador, etc., promoting the digital scholarship, promoting its values, promoting the ideas and concepts to the wider audience, etc. Because once again, this is work, this is not within the direct occupation of Sam, and it's contributing to the tech sector. Because lots of times when people can approach this criterion, they think that, okay, so this is what I did. It was like outside the work, so I'm going to use it. But it was not like the common reasons for refusal in the optional criteria 2 is, okay, so you did it, it's commendable, but it's not directly contributing to the advancement of the sector. This is what you need to show as well. So with things like with approval from large institutions, such as like mentorship within the recognized basically companies and mentorship companies and institutions, with approvals from recognized companies such as like merchant payments ecosystem and PayPal, etc., you can actually prove that, okay, so it's not just work because I want to, it is actually I'm contributing to the sector. And yeah, so mandatory criterion, it is all about the recognition as a leader within the digital scholarship sector. And here we showed the keynote speaker experiences, public speaking experiences, articles about Sam. So like when you like thinking about, okay, so I have some evidences which I'm going to use for mandatory criterion recognition, and which ones I'm going to use for the outside occupation criteria. This is about you. This is recognition is about you. Outside occupation made by you. So basically, that is it. I can talk about it for ages, but it's not about it's not about it. So yeah, the next question is, what are the citizenships that are not applicable for the global talent visa? I would say North Koreans will have some issues when applying, but apart from that, I see maybe, there is in Serbia, there is an island country, Libertania or something like this, which is basically a made up country, but they do issue passports. Yeah, so those citizens of the made up countries would have issues in applying for the global talent visa. Yeah, but there, like the short answer and serious answer is there are no citizenships that are not eligible for the GTV. Yeah. The last question, yeah. Is there a way to show your income or investment amount is if that information is under NDA? Let's put it this way. When you deal with Technation, they are not signing any NDA with you. They are not really, they are not promising you that they will keep them, the information you send to them confidential, etc. But they do operate under the kind of so-called public law infrastructure. So not because they issue visas, but because they are part of the process that issues visas. And therefore, you can expect from Technation same level of confidentiality as you would expect from a government. So, for example, when you apply, when you like go with your passport and all of your details to a government agency, you can expect same level of treatment of your documents and sensitivity in both positive and negative way. When it goes to this Technation, obviously they state on their guide that if you have an NDA, we advise you not to kind of break it. But it is a kind of double-edged sword, because obviously, if these documents are the only way you can prove that something has happened, I will leave you with that. But that like kind of can make you think, what are other ways I can prove something? And that might be, so for example, if some of your products were, or some of the documents, so some of the graphics, some of the things are under NDA, you can, for example, do a talk about it somewhere without releasing NDA information, but you can, using the talk as an evidence, as like in comparison with using some of the NDA documents as an evidence, you can use the talk to kind of link yourself to the product. And this way, you are not submitting NDA documents, but you're still submitting something other than just words of you and someone who writes your recommendation letter. That might be a way, but there are like hundreds of ways, to be honest. But quite often, folks just submit documents they want to submit. Let's put it this way. Yeah. Do you maybe have anything to add to that, Sam, if you want?
No,
Because I was talking for the last
you
like
are
20
you are
minutes.
the best person. You are the best person to answer these questions.
Yeah, apologies for hijacking the mic, but since the
No problem.
questions were technical, yeah. So, thank you very much, Sam. Thank you very much to everyone who joined. Thank you very much for this convo. It was truly inspiring. I will probably go and do something important with my life in the time I have this evening, because obviously, yeah, doing just one thing is not enough, apparently. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, and marketing is telling me that you need to scan the QR. Yeah, scan it now. Do it now, because you can get the discount or whatever. Yeah. So please do it, or I will pay the price. All right. Thanks a lot, Sam. Thanks a lot,
Cheers.
everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All right.